MASH, one of the most successful sitcoms of all time, and for 11 years, William Christopher played the role of the lovable Father Francis Mulcahy. Here's a look at one of the many memorable clips.
Exactly how do you propose to exchange the wine?
Oh, I leave the goods at the designated spot, then I go back later and pick up the pentothal.
You're a trusting soul, aren't you?
It comes with the collar.
Father, you really are a chump. You drop off the goods and come back later to discover that they've left you nothing. You have to meet them face to face.
That isn't the usual arrangement.
If you want my wine, you will do it.
Now, William Christopher working on another heavenly project. He's starring in Church Basement Ladies, and that's tonight, and we'll give you more details at the Meyer Theater. William, thanks for joining us.
It's always wonderful to be introduced as the lovable Father Mulcahy. Well, now I'm playing the lovable Pastor Gunderson. I'm still wearing a clerical collar. It looks like I'll never get out of it, but that's it's a good life. I'm enjoying the theater, and I'm enjoying being on the road with Church Basement Ladies. And I play a Lutheran pastor now, and we show you a little slice of life in a rural Lutheran church somewhere up in northern Minnesota. But I think it's a kind of something everybody can relate to, that especially has been involved with a church group. The four ladies that do all the food preparation down in the basement of the church kind of have a little kingdom of their own. And life goes on there, and it's a kind of a microcosm of the big world. They have their problems, and they have their disputes, and they have their love for one another. And the pastor comes in and out and keeps things going.
That's your role, right?
That's my role, yeah. I'm lovable, once more lovable. Yes. Yeah. And, oh, I must say, we all sing and dance. It's a very funny show based on a book called Growing Up Lutheran, which I did not, by the way, but we're part of a church, and I can certainly relate to it. But the show is very much a comedy. There are a couple of serious moments, but as these ladies prepare for funerals and weddings and fundraisers, they prepare food. They tell you what life is like.
And this was set in '64, but I'm assuming that the theme it rings true today.
It's nostalgic in that sense. I think they picked that time, which was kind of a time of change in churches, and in the Lutheran Church was going through some changes. And so it has kind of this look back with nostalgia. But, of course, things are always in a state of change, and I think that's partly what the show is about. Mm-hmm. And it has some serious themes, but it's all presented in pretty much in a more or less hilarious form. And we, as I say, sing and dance. I get to sing myself, which is unusual.
Oh, great.
So I hope people come and hear the lovable ex-Father Mulcahy sing.
You know, we talk about you being lovable in MASH, and you know, I know you've had a long career, started in the '60s, continuing today on the theater. Admittedly, you'll be known as, much of your career will be earmarked as MASH, which is not bad.
No.
Best series, I think, on TV. Your character kind of evolved during MASH, didn't
it? Certainly did. People say, well, you know, what do you find memorable about MASH, and what was your favorite show? I think for me, the whole 11 years, it was a wonderfully exciting experience, and it did grow. The Mulcahy character grew and was used more as the series went on. And of course, MASH, when it really caught on, became very high in the ratings, and we knew we were seen by millions of people. And that was kind of fun. But we didn't think much about that. We just came in and did our daily work. But we had some very, very wonderful scripts. Some of the greatest writers around in writing for television were working for MASH, and good directors, and so we were turning out shows that were really interesting to do.
You know, it looked like the level of work was maintained throughout the entire 11 years. Sometimes you hear about series and the actors might, you know, take it for granted. Mm-hmm. Did you ever take it for granted?
Well, no. I think that we felt that MASH was kind of special. We were dealing with what was essentially, in CBS's mind, a comedy, but the serious elements that continually surfaced in MASH were I think, important to us because we felt that we were making a comment on humanity, and the time, of course, the Vietnam War was really very topical when MASH started. And we kind of felt the import of that, I think, especially as some of the very more serious shows came along. And I think the network resisted a little bit, getting too serious. But the MASH was able to go back and forth. It was a setting that allowed that. And of course, with my character, I played a man who was essentially involved in a very serious vocation, a spiritual leader, a spiritual guide. But Mulcahy was involved in a lot of comedy too, and I enjoyed playing the comedy, and I'm still doing that.
Right, Church Basement Ladies. Yeah. One last question about MASH, if I may.
Oh, sure.
When they
I'd love to talk about MASH. I'm not reticent at all.
When they had McLean Stevenson die that episode, did they really not tell the cast?
That's true.
That's true.
I've told that story often, but we were given at the last minute that notice that was the way the show was going to end, and shot that final scene without any preparation.
So Radar, when he's reading that, is reading it and reacting.
We did have a second to digest the fact that this was what we were going to shoot. They gave us a sheet of paper that described it, and they said, "Okay, now go on the set and do it." And we did it, and it did have its shock value. Yeah. Sort of like the Moscow Art Theater, you know.
William Christopher performing in Church Basement Ladies starting tonight, Meyer Theater. William, thank you.
Only 4 shows. We do. We're open this afternoon at 2 o'clock, and then we have 2 shows tomorrow and 1 show on Friday night, and then we're off to Sheboygan.
All right.
Beautiful Wisconsin.
Excellent.